I tried beating the 2016 version of Doom on the Ultra Nightmare difficulty and then getting a refund from Steam. If you are not familiar with Steam's refund policy by now, if you own a game for less than 14 days and have played it for less than 2 hours, you can get your money back. And if you've not played Doom before, Ultra Nightmare is exactly the same thing as the Nightmare difficulty, but the catch is that it's permadeath. So if I was to die at any point in this run, I would be sent back to the beginning, which would cost far too much time and the 2-hour refund window would be impossible to achieve. Now, just beating Ultra Nightmare by itself wouldn't really be a challenge, as this game is so extremely broken and can be beaten in under 20 minutes. But I wanted to try this run without using any of the major glitches and taking on most of the combat encounters in the playthrough. So that meant no rail boosts to finish levels in 30 seconds, no extendo grabs to skip parts of levels, and basically no outer bounds. Apart from one of them, which is to skip a very long cutscene, but we'll get to that later. There is, however, a very small caveat. You cannot play your first playthrough of the game on Ultra Nightmare, and no matter how much tinkering with the save files I tried, I wasn't able to bypass this. Ultra Nightmare is unlocked after beating the first Hell mission Into the Fire, so when I launch the run on a new Steam account, I need to use some slightly unconventional methods, using a trainer to speed up the game and teleport to the ending triggers of the levels. I do this for the first 6 levels of the game, and that allows me to unlock the Ultra Nightmare difficulty. I wish there was a way to edit the save files, but there just isn't, and it's already cost me 4 minutes of time, but now it is on to Ultra Nightmare. Starting the game on Ultra Nightmare skips the initial cutscenes where the Slayer retrieves his Praetor suit, the shotgun, and the first fight. I'm dropped straight onto the surface of Mars, and the game doesn't take long to get into some combat. The first encounter has many imps and a few possessed soldiers. Armed with only the base shotgun and pistol, this encounter is not that easy. Run out of ammo, bro. That's a first. Dog shite. That was pretty slow and also kind of sketchy in terms of dying. I progressed through the unlocked door, jump onto this ledge, and drop down to collect the blue keycard. Back up through the hole and through the door that requires the blue keycard, navigating through the tunnel and pick up the first Praetor token at the end. These tokens can be used to upgrade the Praetor suit. The next item I grab is this field drone and use it to get the explosive shot upgrade for the shotgun. I run past this possessed soldier and onto the high ground to the right. Use the explosive shot on this annoying imp and try this very precise and helpful skip. I then jump off this container and perform another bunny hop when I land. This is a lineup for jumping over the trigger that initiates the combat in this section, and without the combat I can head right to the end of the level, one of the few combat sections that will be skipped in this run. But before we continue slaying some demons, I want to give a quick shout out to today's sponsor, UGREEN. What I'm holding in my hand is the world's first 500 watt charger, and it's capable of charging 6 devices at the same time. And this port at the top labelled C1 is even capable of doing 240 watts fast charging. That leaves 4 USB-C ports that can all still charge 60 watts each, and a USB-A port at the bottom that can still do 20 watts. And this device is not just a charger, it's actually a power supply, and I've been able to incorporate it into my setup. I was able to supply power to most of my setup. This Rodecaster Pro Duo, my Panasonic GH5, the light for the camera, and my Atomos Ninja V, as well as a MacBook for charging. Now I don't actually use the MacBook in my setup, I borrowed it from my brother and plugged it into the charger just to show off the device's capabilities. And using just this device, I was able to get rid of all of these annoying plugs. And if the fast charging is more up your street, This top port can charge a MacBook Pro from 0% to 60% in about 30 minutes, and you can also expect your device to be fully charged in around 90 minutes. The UGREEN 500-watt Nexode charger is available on Amazon and the UGREEN store. There are plenty of discounts available at the moment, so make sure to take advantage of those using the links in the description. And one of the other products included in their discounts is the UGREEN FineTrack Smart Finder, which is currently part of a buy 3 get 1 free promotion on Amazon. The links for this product will also be in the description. And thanks again to UGREEN for sponsoring this video. At the start of resource operations, I unlock the mission challenges that reward me with weapon points. The first challenge I complete is Variety is the Spice of Death, and that is to perform 5 different glory kills on the possessed. 1, 2, 3, 4, but I didn't get the 5th glory kill. So I kill the demon that spawns, reroute the power, grab the armor as well as a secret, and perform one last glory kill. No, Chelsea's in Conference League, which is like even worse than your... Oh god. I'm dead here. Jesus Christ, man. I'm not catching any breaks today. On to the next combat section, and I'm keeping myself moving, using the barrels to my advantage and using the explosive shot whenever it is off cooldown. The area is completely cleared, and I pick up the beloved chainsaw, which when used on enemies will drop a ton of ammo. The next area has a gore nest, which normally needs to be destroyed to be able to progress. But there's a neat little jump that I can do here. By jumping on what looks like a pallet truck handle, climb onto this little ledge and jump over these rails, I can skip this combat entirely. I then get the yellow keycard and use the explosive shot on these possessed to get the challenge Too Fur. I can then use the yellow keycard to disable the security controls, head down into a vent and grab a Praetor Suit token. I then head into an elevator shaft to grab the plasma rifle and also finish the last challenge of this mission, Quite the Explorer, and that is to find 3 secrets. I can then head back into the room with the gore nest, perform the same skip again, but this time I grab the field drone now that I have acquired the plasma rifle, picking up the heat blast upgrade. I then use the yellow keycard one last time, trigger the airlock, pick up the heavy assault rifle and the armor pack, which gives full armor. I cycle the airlock once again and head back to the surface, taking out this pesky imp along the way. I picked up the Berserker upgrade, which the intended use is to rip and tear my way through any enemy that stands in my way, but I'll just be using it for the movement speed and the slight damage reduction. And you can actually skip the combat section by climbing up on this box, onto the side of the building, onto the roof, and through a vent, which is super handy. With the satellite now in place, I can use it to get to the next area, but upon reaching the door, I encounter the first possessed security demon of this run, as well as 2 of his buddies. I can take them out with a combination of weapons and head inside. Switching to the assault rifle, I take out 2 imps, and then equip the shotgun to deal with the last imp. I unlock the door with the control panel and switch to the assault rifle to deal with most of the enemies in the next room. One imp spawns in front of me, I take it out and grab another Praetor Suit token, and finally use 3 of the tokens that I have acquired to upgrade the environmental resistance from level 0 to level 2, making me take less damage from barrels and less damage from my own explosives. Samuel Hayden then offers me another upgrade, but this time it's Argent Energy, and I can use it to upgrade either my health, armor, or ammo capacity. You'd think I'd go for health or armor for the safety instead of ammo, which is faster, but getting the ammo early is super helpful in a number of ways early on. And with the Argent Energy in my system, the next stop is Foundry. Mission 3 is the Foundry, where I need to access the turbine room. but in order to do so, I must destroy 4 gore nests. And at the start of the mission, I get a new set of challenges, and start working towards one of them straight away. Curb Stomp, and that is to perform a death from above glory kill on 3 possessed soldiers. I do this by firing an explosive shot to stun the possessed soldier, allowing me to jump high and perform the Curb Stomp. I then head towards the first gore nest, taking out 2 more possessed soldiers, killing 3 imps with the pulse rifle and using the assault rifle on the last soldier that spawns, dropping his health low enough for a glory kill, and I can perform a Curb Stomp. Now for the gore nest encounter. I use an explosive shot on the imp to the left and the shotgun on the imp to the right. I then head to the main area and use the plasma rifle equipped with the heat blast to take out the majority of enemies. With the first gore nest destroyed, I'm about to get one of the best weapons in the entire game, and that is the rocket launcher. However, when I first pick it up, it only has 7 rockets, so I opt to use one of my 4 chainsaw slots on the engineer to get an extra 7 rockets. And this will come in handy for the next encounter, where I need to pick up a yellow keycard and is guarded by imps and soldiers. Before grabbing the keycard, I grab the possessed engineer model from under the platform, which contributes to another challenge, quite the collector, and that is to find 2 collectibles. There's no gore nest here, but there is a vital Argent cell, which will be used to increase the ammo capacity. And with Argent cells, they also refill the resource of the selected category. In the case of picking the ammo, it refills all of my ammo, including the chainsaw. A Hell Knight tries to ambush me, but unfortunately for him, he's surrounded by 2 barrels and just gets deleted. The next encounter has another Hell Knight, but it's no match for my chainsaw and gets killed instantly. The rest of the enemies get taken out by the rocket launcher, and I collect this second collectible, giving me another weapon point. And I also complete the Curb Stomp challenge on this lone soldier, giving me another weapon point. I then head back, grab the chainsaw and climb up the boxes, leading me to another Praetor token. The next gore nest is pretty simple. I use the rocket launcher to take out the 2 imps that spawn, the first Hellraiser and the barrel to kill the second Hellraiser. The possessed soldier then tries to awkwardly flank me, so I just use the rocket launcher instead, and the Hell Knight is no issue. The blue keycard is acquired, and the third gore nest awaits. I kill the first 2 imps that spawn, and then use the rocket launcher from the lower ground to take out all of the enemies that are spawned above. Finally, a Hell Knight spawns, but he hasn't got a hope against my plasma rifle. But this next Hell Knight is kind of strange. It's roaming around the area and can be in a few places. It can even come into the previous room when destroying the gore nest, but thankfully he's in his usual position defending the field drone. And with this field drone, I'm about to get another huge upgrade, and that is remote detonation, allowing me to pinpoint where the explosion of the rocket launcher will be. I killed a few more demons, used the chainsaw to get back some of the ammo, and even though it's only supposed to be 1 chainsaw charge, it uses 2. I don't know why this happens, and I asked some people in their Discord, and they've never seen this before, so I guess it's just my luck. I then drop down to the bottom of this area, being careful not to get an accidental rail boost, grab another Praetor token, and head back up to the top to grab the hand that is needed for the handprint scanner. Another imp spawns, and it's a great time to use the chainsaw once again to fill up the rockets. But once again, it uses 2 pieces of fuel instead of 1. And now this is kind of a problem. I place the hand on the scanner, giving me access to the final gore nest, and also use the weapon points that I have acquired up until this point to purchase the improved warhead and jagged shrapnel. Both are very strong upgrades for the rocket launcher. But it also opens up access to the final rocket launcher upgrade, and that is external payload. And in order to complete this challenge, I need to get 3 or more kills with a single rocket 15 times. And using the chainsaw on this Hellraiser for more rocket ammo, I realised that I'm missing some fuel. I didn't realise when I was using the chainsaw on the 2 earlier encounters that I was being scammed out of my own fuel. Luckily, there is some fuel in this room that had the 3rd gore nest in, but I'm still a couple of charges short for what I intended to use it for. The last encounter takes place in the turbine room. Luckily, I've memorised the spawn locations and can just keep on top of them with the rocket launcher.
Yeah, the rangeometer was going to come out there, mate. The many bangs on the desk was going to come if that killed me. It must be a bug. There must be some sort of bug where I'm using more fuel than I need to when I use the chainsaw.
The last Hell Knight nearly killed me, but luckily the chainsaw went off. I then grabbed the last Praetor token and I'm supposed to fully upgrade the environment, but I was too busy thinking about the mishap with the fuel. Argent Facility is the next mission, and it also has the first rune that I'll want to complete. This one gives me Vacuum, and that increases the range at which I can pick up dropped items. The challenge itself is pretty simple. Just kill 15 demons with the shotgun. The next battle is an open area, and it would be a pretty bad idea to just walk out there exposing myself from so many angles. So I decided to do the unthinkable in a Doom game, and partake in a spot of camping. I know, not something I'm proud of, but it makes it easy to kill the demons outside with the rocket launcher and manipulates the spawns of the next demons, forcing them to spawn in the room with me.
Can you f off? Jesus Christ, man.
And that was looking extra spicy. The next stop is to get an ammo refill from this munitions box and loop around to the back of the imps, taking them out by surprise. But before I interact with the gore nest, I head into this small cave and pick up another Praetor token.
Why is he like right next to me? Like, where the f is this fella?
The gore nest encounter was a little bit awkward with enemies spawning not where they usually do, but I can then head inside the facility, kill these 3 demons, get an external payload tick, and pick up some more chainsaw fuel. I then use this health station to replenish my HP to 100 and destroy the first of 4 filters.
Carefully release the hit.
The second filter is guarded by a handful of imps, but they are no match for my rocket launcher, and filter 2 is gonzo. Before heading to the third filter, I head to the cliffside, getting another external payload tick, bringing the total to 4, and picking up one of the most enjoyable weapons in the entire game, the super shotgun.
Demon breach detected.
Why is there another headlight over here? Can you please give it a rest?
Demon presence activated.
Bro, these fireballs today are doing something to me anyway.
I use the health station in the room, open up the munitions box and destroy the third filter, before being greeted by a new enemy type, the summoner, but they get insta-killed by the chainsaw before they can summon anything. I head up to the top platform, grab the haste upgrade, grab the fuel, and be on my way. I get another external payload tick on this group of fodder, before grabbing another Praetor token and performing this small skip. The last encounter only has 4 enemies and all of them can be killed using the Berserk upgrade. I grab one last Praetor token, destroy the filter, and it's onto the hardest mission of this entire playthrough, Argent Facility. This mission takes no time getting straight into the action. Another new enemy type joins the fray. This time it's a Revenant, which can be taken out with just 3 rockets. And using the rocket launcher, I take out the rest of the enemies, which will let me get access to the Delta V jump boots, allowing me to double jump. These boots are needed to get access to the next rune trial, and this one drops ammo boost, one of, if not, the best rune in the entire game. Acquiring it is very easy, just kill 30 enemies with the super shotgun. Now usually you'd only be able to equip one rune at this point, but with this simple trick of hovering the mouse over the rune slot and pressing down on my keyboard, I can equip 2 runes at once. And I also purchased the first 2 levels of the power-up effectiveness for the Praetor suit. And with the rune acquired and equipped, I'll tell you why ammo boost is so good. In its unupgraded state, it increases the amount of ammo gained from items and enemies, but what I really need it for is its upgraded state, and that gives a small chance to drop BFG ammo. Now, I don't have the BFG just yet, but I'll need to start working on upgrading it straight away. I need to pick up 500 individual pieces of ammo, and to make that possible, I'll be wasting ammo throughout the run, because if I have full ammo, I cannot pick up ammunition. Making sure to grab this piece of fuel, I make my way along this bridge-like structure, emptying my ammo for most of the weapons along the way, dropping down at the end of the bridge to collect this Praetor token. The next encounter has a couple of summoners, but equipped with the rocket launcher and a quad damage power-up, they haven't got a chance. The next room contains a munitions box, which refills all of my ammo and gives me about 50 pickups towards the ammo boost mastery, about 10% of the way there. I continue to waste ammo and pick up another Praetor suit token, refill my health at a health station, and prepare myself for the most difficult skip in this run. Perfect. Oh god. This skip took a lot of practice to get right, as it's so difficult. Hell, even someone died here on one of their Ultra Nightmare runs right here. It's so hard to do this under the pressure of all sorts of projectiles flying my way, but I managed to get through safely and continue to ascend the tower. The next arena is a big circle. I initially climb up to take out a couple of soldiers from above, before grabbing the invincibility power up and battling against the rest of the enemies.
See how much harder this one was?
With the demons destroyed, I can activate the drones and further climb the tower. The next room can be quite a pain. There's only 2 soldiers in there and the rest are just fodder, but it's easy to get trapped, so I take out all of the enemies before going through the door, where I'm ambushed by a shield soldier and a Hell Knight. I'll waste the rest of my ammo while waiting for this moving object to align up. You can make this jump without it, but it's a little bit awkward. If you fall and get trapped in between the moving object and the wall, you're gonna die, and I can't have that. I grab the Mega Health Hiding, which gives me 200 armor and 200 health, before using this munitions box, bringing my total ammo boost to 118, and pick up the last Praetor token for this level. This is also enough for me to get the level 3 upgrade for the power-up effectiveness, which increases the duration of the power-ups. The last encounter on this level is at the top of the tower, which is somewhat time-based, but can be sped up initially by killing a few of the enemies. Once the announcer is talking about the dimensional event, I grab the invulnerability and fall all the way down to the bottom of the tower, somehow not breaking my legs. I can then grab this Argent Cell while the countdown is taking place, saving me a few vital seconds. I've now made my first step into hell, and I'm greeted by another addition to the arsenal, the Gauss Cannon. Not only is it very strong at dealing with demons, but it can also do this. The Gauss Jump is super handy for a couple of skips to save a little bit of time, and the cannon can also be used to propel myself backwards and get a huge speed boost, so I can traverse areas much faster. I pick up the blue skull and enter the next arena, take out 4 more imps at close range, 1 more from a distance, and I can then drop down, grab the quad damage and start spawn camping the demons as they appear. Using the blue skull, I grab another Argent Cell, this time going for ammo, mainly to refill the ammo that I'm missing, but also to increase my total capacity to a comfortable level. And this also helps for the ammo boost. The next pathway has a group of fodder, which I can take out with the rocket to get more external payload ticks, bringing my total to 11, then use the chainsaw to kill the Mancubus. Another Gauss boost is required next. This one is slightly easier than the previous, but I can't take too long to complete it, otherwise another Mancubus will make its way towards me and I could start seeing some problems. The gate is open and the next arena is a pretty wide arena, and has a huge variety of enemies. But the best strategy is to stay near the entrance and keep an eye on all of the spawn locations. Eventually, most of the enemies are taken care of and it's just a lone Mancubus. Once it's dealt with, I can proceed. I head through the teleporter, pick up some ammo and collect a Praetor Suit token, before heading across this gap and getting the last field drone upgrade for this entire playthrough. This time, going for siege mode on the Gauss cannon, and this is where the real fun begins. Usually for siege mode, you have to stand still for a couple of seconds to get it to charge up. But if you swap to the Gauss cannon from another weapon, press the weapon mod button and shoot all at the same time, you get the full siege mode beam instantly, which is extremely powerful. The next area introduces me to another new enemy. This time it's the Baron of Hell, probably the strongest base enemy in the game by far. With the Barons dead, I head down to this path to progress, being greeted with some fodder at the bottom, getting myself another external payload tick, bringing my total up to 13. And I then jump to the top of this lantern and perform a simple Gauss boost, saving me a small amount of time. And with the last Praetor Suit token that I will be collecting on this run, I spend it on the weapon switching speed upgrade, allowing me to use my full arsenal of weapons more efficiently, and even change to the shotgun faster if there are enemies right in front of me. The return to the Argent facility is short-lived, because I can skip most of the mission with a simple Gauss jump. Wasting my ammo on the way there, and taking out a Cacodemon with this Gauss cannon, I reach this section of the rail, and using the recoil from the Gauss cannon, I can jump across this gap, skipping most of the level. The skip itself is pretty easy, however, it doesn't take away from the fact that one small misclick or one small misjudgment and I would die instantly. The skip is done though, and the level is nearly over. I waste more ammo, take out a Revenant and an Imp, waste more ammo, get another external payload tick, taking my total to 14, and decide to waste a little bit of time to get the maximum amount from this munitions box, bringing the ammo boost total to nearly 250, halfway there. There's an Argent cell on top of these rocks, and I can use the Gauss cannon to get to it quicker, this time selecting the health upgrade. I use the rocket to take out some fodder at the Gore Nest, and that gives me the external payload mastery, basically making it so the rocket continues after detonating it with the remote detonation. Starting the encounter, I take out a Hell Knight with an instant siege mode and a Revenant with the chainsaw. This triggers some Cacodemons to spawn, and they all get one shot by the siege mode. Finally, a Mancubus and a Revenant spawn, but they are no match for me. Entering the facility, I grab the yellow keycard from the foreshadowed Pinky, drop down and enter the train platform. taking out all of the demons and using the chainsaw on the last 2 imps to get some more ammo boost progress. Reaching the advanced research complex via the train, I'm stuck in place, so this is a perfect time to waste some ammo. I jump off the train, grab some fuel and take out this mancubus. These next couple of rooms are full of fodder that I can kill with the chainsaw and waste ammo on top of the drops and get a huge amount of progress towards the ammo boost. There's also an Argent cell, and this time I get the first armor upgrade in the run. This next arena is one of the hardest in the entire game. All sorts of enemies spawn: mancubus, summoners, hell knights and revenants. Once I've taken care of the mancubuses, I head up to this corner and this is where I make my stand. With the demons decimated, the next section is usually a lengthy cutscene with Samuel Hayden, followed by a bit of combat. But here is where I will use the only out of bounds in this playthrough. I paperclip through this corner, fall down onto the roof of the rooms below, and then walk off this edge onto the pipe. Thankfully there's an Argent cell here and I can just grab it through the wall, putting me back in bounds. And for this cell I go for a health upgrade. After flying through the pipes, I'm introduced to an even stronger type of mancubus, the cyber mancubus, but they are still no match for my arsenal. With the enemies dealt with and the upper torso acquired, I can go into one of the side rooms, use the chainsaw 2 more times, and that will be the ammo boost fully upgraded. And you could say that that is right on time because I'm about to get the BFG. Usually you have to wait for the BFG security system to run its course, but if I jump, Gauss cannon and crouch, I can get into the container, pick up the BFG and save a little bit of time.
What the f was even that, bro?
Demonic presence at unsafe level.
I get a full heal out here though, actually, that's fine. And the BFG, it seems. Oh god. Oh, I keep falling. Mate, you know what?
That fight was very awkward. I fell off the high ground at the beginning and it just kept getting worse as the fight went on. Finally, 2 Barons of Hell spawn, 1 BFG is enough to take them out. The next mission is Lazarus Labs. I clear out the pathway using a variety of weapons, refill my ammo on the pinky and grab this mega health before taking on the next encounter. The main strategy I like to do for this battle is fire the BFG from one corner to another, threading it in between this hanging container and hope for some BFG ammo drops. Coming towards the end of the battle, I stop using the BFG and use my normal weapons instead.
I swear, sometimes they make some of these arenas way harder than they usually are. It's insane.
With this encounter complete, the next step is to get the Rich Gets Richer rune, which allows me to have infinite ammo for my basic weapons, not including the chainsaw and the BFG, if I have 100 armor or more. This is by far the hardest of the 3 rune trials that I have to complete, because the enemies are pretty tanky and I can only use the rocket launcher, which is not great for close quarters combat, and enemies don't drop any resources. That includes health as well as ammo.
Can you, like, please die?
Rich Gets Richer is now in my inventory, and when taking out the next enemies, they have a lot of BFG ammo, so I use it. It's very overkill, I know, but it's still fun to use the weapon. And for the next encounter, the BFG makes it a lot simpler. I trigger the Mancubus to wake up, run back, and use the BFG. A Mancubus spawns on the left side and also on the right, but you can't see that. But I fire a BFG across the back of the room, taking them both out, as well as a bunch of other enemies. I can then use the Gauss cannon and rocket launcher to take out the rest of the fodder. The next arena is much smaller and much faster. I head to the left, pick up this hidden mega health, use the BFG to wipe out the enemies, hit the access panel early, and use the BFG one more time, allowing me to safely get to the elevator.
PB, boys. PB.
Before going into Olivia's secret lab, I fully upgrade the heat blast on the plasma rifle, activate the switch and pick up another Argent cell, going for armor, bringing my max capacity to 100, which is just enough to use Rich Gets Richer. The next encounter takes place in this circular room, and I can manipulate the early spawns of the imps and use the heat blast to take them all out with one blast each. Then when the big boys start to spawn, I move around on the high ground, using my arsenal of normal weapons and the BFG if any extra drop from the enemies. Now you can see why ammo boost is so strong. The last encounter of this level is pretty similar to the first encounter of the level, firing the BFG from one side of the room to the other, making sure I have one BFG ammo remaining, as there are 2 more to pick up before the end of this level, which, by the way, is a boss battle with the Cyber Demon. Stepping back into hell for the second time on this run, I drop down this hole, somehow not breaking my legs at the bottom. There's some cacodemons flying around and one cyber mancubus, but they don't have a chance. The same for the demons in the next room. Now usually I would use the chainsaw on this pinky, but I must have forgotten to pick up some more fuel. But I take care of the pinky, the Hell Knights, and use the chainsaw to replenish some of the Gauss Cannon ammo. After activating the switch, a Mancubus tries to ambush me, but he doesn't have a chance. The next fight starts off with another Cyber Mancubus, but again, it gets absolutely destroyed. The usual strategy that I use here is to stay on top, use the Gauss Cannon and the rocket launcher, but I get quite lucky with some extra BFG drops, so I use that instead. The next encounter took me a while to figure out how to do quickly. Grabbing the quad damage power up spawns in the 2 imps, and to then keep on top of all of the spawns using the rocket launcher, killing them all instantly. I then see this pinky which gets taken out by the chainsaw, making sure that I have enough plasma ammo, and I then fire the BFG across the room, taking out most of the remaining enemies. This will trigger the 2 barons to spawn, but they get destroyed with ease. For the next area, I don't have to kill the enemies just yet. I perform a Gauss boost, grab the yellow skull and wait behind the pedestal until the trap has finished. Now for the acid area, I activate the skull and get ambushed by 2 Mancubuses, but with the help of the invincibility upgrade, I can just decimate them. Finally, 3 pinkies try to ambush me, but with the invincibility upgrade still in my inventory, I have nothing to worry about. While the yellow skull door is opening, I turn around and go into this room, using another Argent cell and upgrading the armor capacity to 125, and also gives me Rich Gets Richer. I then enter the next arena cautiously, as there's a Mancubus waiting outside to ambush me and take away my Rich Gets Richer. With all the normal enemies defeated, 3 Cyber Mancubuses spawn and I can take out 2 of them using the BFG, replenish the ammo that I've just used by picking up the BFG drop on the pedestal, and finish off the last Mancubus with my normal weapons. The next encounter is more of the same, using the rocket, Gauss Cannon and SSG to eliminate some of the demons. But I see a BFG ammo on the ground, and I decide to use one of my 3 shots to kill a few enemies, but it disappears right as I was about to pick it up. This meant I had to use my regular weapons to take out the last 2 enemies. I grab the Mega Health on the left, walk into the center of this room to trigger the huge wave of imps to spawn, and take them out with the rocket launcher. When the stronger enemies start to spawn, I use the Gauss Cannon. The Necropolis, a level that's towards the end of the game, so you would think it would be one of the hardest, but in all honesty, it was one of the easiest. I take out some fodder with the rocket launcher and grab the last Argent cell of this run, bringing my capacity up to 150. Even though I'm on 200 at the moment, it's nice to have that extra bit of safety. A Mancubus spawns, gets deleted instantly, and so do the enemies in the next room. I get an extra BFG drop and decide to use it to take out these 2 Hell Knights.
Ow.
With this room cleared and the yellow skull acquired, I grab the haste upgrade and go to the other side of the main room. The haste upgrade plus the instant siege mode is so overpowered for this encounter. The haste upgrade allows me to get shots away quickly at an incredible speed, making short work of this phase. And the next phase has a conveniently placed quad damage, which I pick up, and it makes killing the 4 revenants and 4 mancubuses very simple. With both the skulls acquired, I can unlock the doors in the main room, twist the levers and start the next fight. Approaching the end of the level already, I take out 3 cacodemons with this single siege mode shot and kill the mancubus at the end. And usually this room has a fair bit of combat, but I can just do this instead. The last fight before the boss encounter can be dealt with a single BFG, which isn't actually wasted as I get one more before the boss fight. And speaking of boss fights, it's time for the Hell Guardians. Phase 1 gets absolutely melted, achieving a 1 cycle, something I only managed to get once in practice. And for Phase 2, there are 2 Hell Guardians, but this time without their shields. Starting Vega, I Gauss boost across the outside path, head into this shaft and take out the imps with the rocket launcher. I then need to disable Vega's security system, but some demons tried to stop me. With the security disabled and the demons defeated, I grab the invincibility and berserk power-ups just before I run past the demons and into this hidden shaft. And using the berserk upgrade, I can take out all of these demons guarding the blue keycard and be on my way. Going this route also allows me to drop into this shaft and get a mega health, very helpful for the upcoming fight. But that fight will not take place in this room. After picking up the BFG ammo, I can just Gauss boost off this jump pad and fly right over the security barrier, skipping the combat entirely. And now it's time for the final fight on the Vega level. The fight went fairly smoothly. I managed to keep 150 armor and full BFG ammo, which is essential for the final level.
The final chapter.
To start off, I trigger the first fight to start by heading into the arena slightly, then backing off and using the BFG to take out the demons that spawn. After the second BFG, I used instant siege mode to take out this summoner, because a lot of the time the BFG won't hit it. I can then use one last BFG to clear out the remainder of the enemies. As a safety measure, I take a small time loss to grab this BFG ammo,
Better to be safe than sorry. I then kill a few enemies before making this quite scary jump. It might look pretty simple, but if I hover above the void for too long, the game will just insta-kill me and there's nothing I can do about it, other than cry. There's 3 main encounters left as well as the final boss fight, all of which being very difficult. Yep, scammed again. Just as the BFG ammo is about to land in my inventory, it's gonzo. Oh, that's... Wait, what? I didn't get it, no! Oh, this is really bad. Oh, no. Oh, this is in fact dreadful. I used the Crucible on the first Wraith Soul, drop down and use this switch. This opens up a pathway. It's slower to take this path, but there is a vital BFG ammo at the end. There's an enemy missing here as well. What are they doing down there? Okay, this fight was looking extra spicy. I took quite a few hits and didn't get the BFG drops when I really needed them, but I made it through alive and that is all that matters. I used the Crucible on the second Wraith, pressed the switch and grab a mega health, plus a BFG ammo before taking on the final encounter, which is slightly easier than the previous one. The last part of this fight didn't go as smooth as usual, with my BFG not killing most of the Barons at the end, but with this encounter completed, it's time for the final battle, Olivia Pits.
And this run is finally over. I had just under 4 minutes left on the clock to achieve the refund window. And man, this run was super difficult, and it took so much time in terms of practice, clocking in nearly 200 hours on my main Steam account. But the real question is, after all of this, did Steam give me my money back? Of course they did. I got a full refund for the game, which came to £16.99. But this project wasn't as plain sailing as it seems. And I want to give you guys some insight into how many runs this took, how much money this challenge cost me, and how you guys can enter a giveaway for a copy of ID Software's new game, Doom: The Dark Ages.
Ow. Are you serious? Oh. Yeah, we're so done, bro. I bumped off him. I can't recover this. This is too long. Mate, the most random things happen when I do an actual run. I swear to God. I swear to God. Okay. Bruh. I just got fucking melted. I've never been melted like that before while moving so much. No. Really? 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 I practiced this so many times today as well. What? I bumped. Oh my God. I'm so done with this. This game is so shit. I just bumped off something, man. I went flying.
Demand presence at unsafe level.
That's a shame. That is a shame. I didn't get any BFG drops, and then when I wanted one, I got fucking arsed by the pinky. I should practice that from.
This run took a total of 7 attempts, which is only one shy of the Wolfenstein 2 Mein Leben refund run. And to any of you that are eagle-eyed, you might have actually spotted a couple of my death skulls throughout this playthrough. And despite the failures, this run was actually so much fun to learn. It's been a long time since I've sat and learned a new speedrun from scratch and enjoyed it this much. But this run would not have existed if it wasn't for some people helping me along the way. Firstly, there is Rytro, who dug up a speedrun for me that didn't have many major glitches, and I was able to use this as a guide. Without this video from Rytro, I don't know if I would have been able to do this run. It's pretty simple. And on top of the video, he also answered a lot of questions that I had regarding this run. It was quite complex to learn, and it was a big undertaking, but with Rytro's help, it made it a lot simpler. Then there is Detlaf, who edited the speedrunning trainer for it to contain a 6th teleporting slot instead of the usual 5, which was just enough to get me to finish Into the Fire by teleporting and unlocking Ultra Nightmare. And I also want to say thank you to anyone else who pointed me in the right direction or gave me some tips or some advice regarding speedrunning this game. And you might be wondering what's going to happen to the accounts that had the failed attempts on it. Well, I actually refunded those as well. But don't worry, I'm not going to keep the money. I purchased 7 copies worth £16.99 each, which comes to a total of £118.93. So we'll just call it £120, and that will be going to the charity Cats Protection, which is a UK-based charity that aims to find good homes for cats in need, encourage the neutering of cats, and improve people's understanding of cats and their care needs. And finally, I'll be doing a giveaway for the second sequel to this game, Doom: The Dark Ages. It's just released, and all you need to do to enter is join my Discord server over at discord.gg/uhTrance. The link will be in the description. Find the giveaways channel and click this button. That's all you need to do to enter. That's it for the refund run, guys. If you've got any suggestions for a game that might benefit from one of these runs, I'm kind of running out of ideas, please let me know in the comments or let me know in the Discord server. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one.